Are you looking forward to a position in the Biden administration if you were to win? And what position do you think would make sense?
What I've said the entire time is I ran to solve a certain set of problems, and if someone gives me an opportunity to solve those problems, then I'll take it. Because I'm not a jerk where it's like I'm like we should solve that, and someone says you want to help, and I'm like no, that's not like to be a reasonable response. So if they give me a real meaty role where I think I can move the needle on, tech's role in our lives or universal basic income, or the mental health of our kids or whatever it is that I can actually address, I'll take it. I'm not going to make any bones about it. I suppose that someone in my shoes should be doing some more calling and cajoling than I probably am. I think that's probably happening. But Cenk, I think you and I have a fair amount in common. I think we're both children of immigrants who, were trained in. I think you have a law degree, right? Yeah. So I always felt like you and I had a lot in common. And one of the things I learned on the trail was that being human is really, one, I enjoy it more, but two, it's it's been the fuel of my ability to get anything done. If I showed up and tried to out-politician the politicians, I would have been completely crushed. So I had to. So I'm not someone who's eager to I genuinely don't give about conventional political ambition. It'd be oh, I need this role, so maybe I can do this, and then maybe I can get some. I don't care about any of that. If it's I'm going to solve a problem, then I'm into it. If you want me to help solve the problem, I'll do my damnedest to do it. But I could give a crap about whatever the ring kissing is or the stuff. I don't have a particular thirst for a particular level of status. I think maybe no. I think people sense this about me too. I grew up the kid of a lab geek, and the computer administrator at the local university. I just don't crave certain material markers the way that I sense, or status markers. I just want to eradicate poverty and improve our lives and make it so that our kids actually can inherit a world that we are at least find acceptable instead of the show we're giving them right now. I mean, they're fairly to me straightforward. Oh, nice war. Oh no. Oh no. I was supposed to do that.
All right. Don't worry. We'll figure it out. All right. So, at the end of all this, and I want to talk about the future of the whole economy in a second, but I can't tell whether I want to root for you to be in the administration or outside of it. Because I feel like inside the administration, you'd be an amazing voice and push in a novel, important direction, and you'd be a voice for a lot of people who are not represented in government. So that'd be great. On the other hand, if you're, that it bottles you up to some degree, right? And then they're going to tell you got to be a team player and stuff, and that's real. And I kind of like Yang Unchained.
Thanks. I'm dedicated to being effective in whatever role I'm in, whatever capacity. It is a fear I have that many people watching this share too, is how much can we do to activate our government so it actually solves some of the problems that we needed to solve. And I'm fully prepared to roll up my sleeves and test out how much I can solve in that capacity. But I'm not scared in the sense that whether I'm in government or outside of government, I think there are a lot of really important things I can do, and then I'll just be working on them. But at some point we need government to become the instrument of digging us out of this catastrophic hole that we're in.
I just realized the smart political play from their end. When I say their end, I mean just generally the Democratic Party. They're better off having you inside the building rather than outside the building. So if they recognize that, they'll know that the savvy move is to bring you in. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out.
We'll find out together, everyone.
That's right. Okay. So, well, you talked a lot about automation and universal basic income. First, let's start with universal basic income. A lot of people are saying that the stimulus checks that are being sent out during coronavirus is vindication for you. And so I say the same thing about Medicare for all. We told you, when people's lives are in danger, you need to have universal health care coverage. Otherwise, they're going to die. And you said, hey, if their economic life is in danger, you need to throw them a lifeline. Otherwise, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So how vindicated do you feel about that? And do you have any hope that they will then realize that and extend it going forward?
I am very optimistic that universal basic income is here to stay. Will be front and center in our policy conversation because it's common sense and we can all see what's happening around us. 74% of Americans say they're for cash relief during this pandemic. And it's 2020. I feel like 74% might as well be 99%. You know what I mean? Like that's near unanimity. That's majority of both parties. So we need to do it. And the things I was campaigning on about job loss due to automating away, retail jobs and call center jobs and eventually truck driving jobs, that stuff is sped up tremendously because if you're a large firm, half of firms actually said in one survey that they're investing more in automation now. Meatpacking companies are saying, look, we're going to try and replace the meatpacking workers with robots because they don't get sick. And then no one can complain about the fact that we have a lot of workers in a congested area where they might contract or spread disease. So universal basic income is going to be front and center. And there are now mayors around the country that are championing it. I believe we're going to see it in this cycle, like this administration between 2021 and 2024, we're going to have a version of universal basic income. I'm fighting for it every day. And the Yang Gang is too.
Yeah. And then finally about automation. So it's only sped up, as you point out. So is there a point, an inflection point where we go back to needy humans or what happens if we don't? What if, you're right and the meat packing plants bring in the robots and so does every other plant. And Amazon's doing it more and more. What happens to all those folks? Even if they have universal basic income, what happens to all those jobs?
Our only chance is to humanize our economy so that it starts revolving around the needs and values of the people in our communities. Because right now, let's say that you say, look, you're not meatpacking anymore, but we have all this infrastructure work that needs to be done, or we have all this caregiving work that needs to be done, or what have you. The problem is right now there aren't resources rewarding jobs in those areas. So that's what the government needs to do. The government needs to take massive levels of resources to humanize our economy and then start measuring our economic growth and progress by our health and life expectancy and affordability and not how Amazon stock is doing. That's the big move we have to make. And we need to make it right now. Like there is no more time. This isn't like, oh, futurist Andrew Yang, we need to do this in the next 5 years. Like we need to do this yesterday because millions of people are getting increasingly desperate and we need to give them a path forward or else there will be catastrophic consequences. And I feel for a lot of the people who are watching this right now where they're looking around saying, how is our government so broken that it can't do the obvious in a time of crisis?
So do you, as we wrap up, do you feel pessimistic or optimistic? And what could make us feel optimistic about what looks to be a troubling future in that regard?
The only cause for optimism is that common sense is now shifting where dramatic solutions like universal basic income are mainstream, popular. We just need to reconnect the people and the legislators because the people want it. And if the legislators pass it, we can actually improve our way of life quite quickly. That's my only cause for optimism because this is a very dark, tragic, devastating time for many of us. And I think there's a disease in American life where we're all like, look at the bright side. I mean, screw that. Like, this is a terrible time. And we have to make a bright side happen ourselves by putting our blood, sweat, and tears into it and fighting for a better vision now. And our legislators right now are so idea starved. They're looking for it. We just need to force this vision essentially like in front of them and say, look, we all want you to do this. We all want universal basic income. We all want an economy that doesn't make us inputs into the machine, but actually makes the machines work for us. And we can do it. Like we're supporting candidates around the country that want that. You can help. Anyone watching this can help. But go to Humanity Forward and see some of the great candidates that are trying to make it better for you.
Yeah, and I agree, and I love that you supported candidates against incumbents. So that's a whole nother conversation. But we did come full circle because the thing that helps fix all of this is democracy reform. Because almost every guest I had on today on every topic said we've got to force our government to do it. That's not how a democracy is supposed to be. They're supposed to represent us, but something is fundamentally broken, and that's what we have to repair first, so we can repair the rest of the machine and the economy and the politics.
I could not agree more. Andrew Yang is for universal basic income 1, but now like the new 1A is democracy reform. If we don't make that happen, nothing else will work.
100%. If you remember, Andrew, that's why I loved your democracy dollars and emphasize that at every turn. So
thank you, Cenk. Appreciate you. Look at this. We'll do it again. We'll do it again on the trail.
All right. Wonderful. All right. Thank you, Andrew. Great to talk to you again.
Stay safe out there.